battle. Norway Chess 2024 is in the house, and it is just getting going. Earn it, and let's not forget, Hikaru is the defending Norway Chess champion. All roads tend to start and end with Magnus from a storyline perspective when you are here on his home turf, but Hikaru Nakamura won this event last year. He likes the format. He'd love to get an Armageddon, I think, and so, well, actually, I think both players at this point may not have a choice but to get Armageddon, but I think Hikaru is feeling a little better right now compared to the two players.
I think for the matchup, yes. I think Hikaru has been the more confident one. And the tournament you mentioned here, last year's edition of Norway Chess, he won it by beating Fabiano in the last round on demand. Fabiano was leading and Hikaru had to win in order to get the title. Ahead of Fabiano, ahead of Magnus. So he clearly has good memories about this event and good memories about this matchup also because of the candidates. He did really well against Fabiano. At the same time, Fabi said that Armageddon is his favorite format. He loves it. So maybe he's excited too that he's getting what he wanted. Ideally, of course, you win in Classical and you get 3 points. But if you cannot, maybe you're happy.
Yeah, I think both players would be okay with the idea of Armageddon, especially at this point in the game. And also good to see Fabiano retreat his queen, keep the queens on the board. Like Danny said, Hikaru, one of his biggest strengths is grinding away in these result endgames. People just kind of remember him as this fiery youth who would checkmate all his opponents, but no longer. He loves stability and loves to look for those.
And he's been applauded, right? Again, you always think of Magnus in terms of squeezing water out of the stone. It's something he became known for on his ride to the top and holding the crown. But Hikaru has been applauded by his peers as, so tough in the endgame because of his resourcefulness, his ability to spot things so quickly. Also a fantastic endgame player, not someone you wanna face. So King H7 gets out of the way of Bishop takes H6. Maybe you'll play Queen G6 at some point. I expect B3 from Fabiano here, or at least at some point to defend the pawn if you can, to get the bishop and rook out. But maybe a little too early. Maybe bishop f4 to e5 first, kind of anchor in some threats on g7. But this one has more ahead. The queens are on the board. We're not getting into an endgame or maybe even an Armageddon battle as quickly as we once thought. So let's back this thing up. What do you think?
Yeah, let's zoom out to the bird's eye view and we can check out that rainbow of colors.
5 is an aggressive move, right? The potential of what's coming on the king side here could get spicy. There you go, fire on board.
He's throwing up the emojis, David.
That's for you, Eric. Shout out. But F5, yeah. I mean, Nakamura, partly I think he's in preparation. If we look at the clock times, he hasn't spent that much time. But partly he's just super confident these days against Fabiano. I don't know what it is, but their head-to-head matchup, it's really gone in Hikaru's favor in recent times. And yeah, we say fire here, Anna, because Firstly, the pawn structures change. Secondly, there's a bishop lurking on this diagonal. The f file is semi-open. Thoughts here? Who would you prefer to be?
I'm loving it from Black's perspective. I know that the evaluation bar is showing a slight advantage for White, but when I look at this optically, I'm loving the semi-open f5 as you mentioned, and the bishop pointing at the f2 pawn, which is already less guarded because the White rook has moved away from f1 to e1. So even though White should be alright or slightly better, I think Hikaru is clearly coming to this game saying, I've got the black pieces, but I don't care, I'm ambitious. And as you mentioned, he has had really good results against Fabiano. He had to win on demand last year here at Norway Chess to win the tournaments against Fabi because Fabi was leading the tournament. Hikaru beat him and took the title. And in the candidates, he scored 1.5 against Fabiano. So Hikaru feeling good about his chances, even with the black pieces. What do you think, Danny?
I couldn't agree with you more. Everything you just said, both about how Hikaru is feeling, his willingness to take chances with the black pieces, but also the position. I agree with you that obviously, look, no one's disagreeing with our overlords. They are here. The computers are here to stay. But there's a reason this position is close to equal, but the potential might favor Black. You highlighted the bishop on the diagonal hitting f2. You highlighted the rook on f8. The fact that the rook on e1 is not guarding f2. And if Black didn't get the open f file, Black was going to push that pawn that was just there a move ago forward to f4, and then Hikaru would have been really at home with his maybe vintage King's Indian that he doesn't play often anymore. But if f4 had been on the board and g5, that David is highlighting it faster than I can say it, that's a position that would have been too much fun for Nakamura. So David, let me throw to you then and let you take the side of White then, because we've highlighted why we're excited about this game. The fire on board you threw there with the emote. But what is White's best approach to, let's say, keep it level, right? We're excited about the f file. How does Fabiano approach this?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the most ambitious approach would be here, but the safest at least would be to eliminate this this kind of assassin, this sniper on b6 as quickly as possible, just trading off this piece. And I mean, for example, if we jump in maybe with a variation, once we eliminate this bishop, White would have more options. You could play a move like bishop to e3 just to target this knight. At the right moment, I think White will need to strike out in the center with a move like pawn to d4. I'm not sure when, because you don't really necessarily want to allow Black to continue pushing forward, gaining space, kicking away a great defender like this knight on f3. So this would be the key position. Eliminate that piece would be my advice. But what next? That's the tricky question. How to prepare d4. If you don't have pawn breaks, you don't have potential. So yeah, tricky double-edged position for sure.
You just highlighted it. Taking the bishop, I guess, seems like the simplest thing. You can see in the live board the bishop is there, spying f2. Analysis, as David just showed, that probably gets rid of most of the threats. And okay, I guess so. We've expressed our excitement, right, for how aggressive Hikaru is being, and I don't know how quickly we're going to get to this or not. We can also share that Hikaru has officially become the first player to enter the confessional booth, so he's also excited. We'll catch up with whatever he's saying probably in a little bit. And the final two moves, should we bring it up really quickly, just to kind of show how it finished? The players are talking about it.
Yeah, we're gonna try to read what they're saying.